Hi, it's Dan, and welcome to the podcast show. It's been a while since we've done these, but here we are, finally managed to get one done again. We've been so busy taking on clients and just doing a whole bunch of implementation for our digital agency, which is really cool because it means that, everything that we've done for the last few weeks, we can actually run through now and hopefully give you a lot of benefit that you can do in your business or when you're running your own digital ads or your own social media content. And one of the first things that we found was that actually putting your pricing on the ads. Now, this depends on the business that you're in. But in our business, I just want to explain how it worked. So we ran some Facebook ads and we decided to put our pricing on the adverts. And usually, not a lot of digital agencies will do this. You have to phone them up, you have to get on a call before you even know how much it is. But actually, we've been inundated with people coming through for strategy sessions, and even last week, one day last week, I had 6 strategy sessions in a day, which is unheard of, like so busy. And so actually putting a pricing on the advert seemed to work. And so what happens is, what I think happens is, 'cause I don't know, we're just guessing, right? Everybody's just guessing at this point. But what I think is happening is that when someone sees our adverts, and we see Facebook ads, obviously website design, obviously Google ads or SEO or whatever that's going to be, they see it and then receive a price. So if somebody is looking for SEO or somebody's looking for a website or somebody's looking for Facebook ads and they see our advert, it's got my shiny face on it, it says Facebook ads, and then it's got the price, that effectively qualifies us for what they need, because they see the price, they see it's reasonable, they see what we do, it's Facebook ads, well, I need Facebook ads. Then what happens is they go check you out. So before they go and book that call, or after they've booked the call, before the call actually starts, but after they've booked it and scheduled the time, they go off and they'll do their research, which is really interesting because we're going to talk about SEO and LLMs and how, ChatGPT comes into all of that kind of thing. But it gets that initial qualifier from us to them. We qualify for what they're looking at. So by the time they actually get on the call, so 2 things are happening. One is they actually turn up for the call, whereas before they weren't turning up for the call because they're like, oh, he's just going to sell me. Now we don't need to sell anybody because they already know what the price is. And that's the second thing. Once we get on that phone call and we go and we understand about their business and about what we do, and then we move on to pricing, there are no surprises because they've already know what the advert says for the pricing. So there's no surprise when we then get to the pricing because they already know what it is, which is really cool. In fact, what's happening, I suspect, is that they're getting on a call, they're qualifying us further because, they need to make sure that we know what we're doing and what we say actually works. But also it allows us then to qualify them as well. And it's a good 2-way process and one that's working really well. Now, I'm not saying that this will definitely absolutely work in your business. If your advert's rubbish, if the whole other stuff, which I'll get to, the ChatGPT stuff and the SEO, if all of that's not working properly, then this won't work very well either. And so it's really important that you test this because nobody really knows what the answer is until you actually run this as a test and then you see what those numbers are. Very interesting. Test your pricing on your Facebook ads and let's just see what difference it makes. And please come and have a chat with me. I'd be interested to know what happens for you as well. We have tested this with our other clients and it definitely works for some of our other clients as well. So definitely something to look at. And then the next thing that we kind of looked at really, it used to be a couple of years ago, we were really hot on content. We put a lot of content out. And I say a couple of years ago, last year, content was working really well last year. And with the advent of AI and everyone's doing AI everything these days. And some of it's amazing. I saw Superman rescuing Rose from the Titanic last week. Amazing, right? Obviously not realistic because Superman doesn't exist and, the Titanic dropped 100 years ago. But what's happening is that a lot of people are using AI and it's losing a lot of credibility. We spoke to a guy who does flooring and his adverts were all AI and it was awful. It was really, truly dreadful. And I'm like, dude, you need to delete these videos. You might think they're cool because you managed to do it on your own, technical feat. But honestly, it's ruining credibility. You need to get rid of these videos. And I don't think he has, frankly. He also didn't sign up, and which happens even though they know the price, even though we know we can help, they're just not quite ready to pull the trigger. It definitely happens on strategy calls. But the thing that is working is not just content, and it's not just Facebook ads, and it's not just email marketing, and it's not just SEO, and it's not just AI, and not all of that stuff. It's a combination of all of it, a mixture. And we call this the ecosystem. I just did a call this morning, and I used the phrase, and I apologized for it. I used the phrase, I said, what you need to build is a digital ecosystem. I'm like, oh, just shoot me now. You know, it's like talking about low-hanging fruit. Oh, it's not on my radar, and let's circle back. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those buzz phrases that we use in corporate speak, which I hate, of course. The T-shirt and shorts, and I do. Do you know what I mean? We're so far away from corporate stuff. No one really cares about that stuff anymore, but especially we shouldn't be using corporate buzzwords. Anyway, I did, and I apologise to him. But unfortunately, the word ecosystem is what you need. So you do need SEO, you do need Facebook ads, you do need Google ads, you do need email follow-up, you do need some AI stuff that works, when people are checking you out on ChatGPT. You need all of it. And that is what we call the ecosystem. That's why, you can pick just Facebook ads, and you can pick just SEO, and you can pick just content, let's say. But the thing that really, really works is all of that. It's not just one thing. That's not what marketing is. You don't just put an advert on the back of a bus and only have adverts on the back of a bus. You have adverts everywhere. Digital, online, offline, billboards, leaflets, Facebook ads, Google ads. Everywhere they go, you should be there. That's how it's supposed to work. That's marketing at its very, very best. And so this ecosystem you need has to be SEO, content, paid ads, video content, email, and it all has to work together. And obviously that's a lot of work, and most people haven't got the time, and they don't have the knowledge or the experience or the energy, because it takes a lot of energy to put it together. And so that's actually when they come to us and we help them do it. So for example, as I explained to the guy today, we will run a 45-minute interview, and we'll pull out little 1-minute segments from that interview, and then we'll schedule those for the next 30 days, which is amazing. Because now it's your face giving out your message on your brand, and with a link back to your website. That's exactly what you should be having, and that's just one aspect of that. And then maybe off those videos, we'll then pull out little blog posts, or we'll download the entire transcript and make that into a 3 PDF, for example, like a lead magnet or something like that. But all of that works really, really well, but it does take time, effort, energy, and some money in order to create that ecosystem. And then the next thing that we've kind of touched a lot on over these last couple of weeks is the ability to get recommended by places like ChatGPT or Claude, for example. So, for example, on my website, we've now got a whole bunch of case studies, all true and accurate, for businesses that we've worked in up and down the UK, and also around the world as well, because we've got clients in America and Australia and Indonesia, as well as the UK, which is awesome. But what's happening is that when somebody finds you because you've got an advert out, they might not necessarily click on the advert. Actually, what happens is they pull up ChatGPT and they go, tell me about this guy, tell me about his business. What does the digital marketing agency of Dan Latto do? Are they getting results for clients? So what happens is, in order to answer those queries that people are already putting in on a daily basis, we've created case studies, and they are segmented by different industries. So we've got hospitality, we've got trade, we've got e-commerce, we've got health. What else we've got? We've got like 8 of them. And so what happens is that ChatGPT will interrogate that, and it will, when somebody says, does Dan do solar? Yes, here's a case study. Dan's got experience of doing solar leads, which is amazing, right? But we have to tell ChatGPT that this is our experience. Now, by the way, ChatGPT doesn't just look at what you write about yourself. It's looking at what else is out there as well. So, for example, we also now do press releases that talk about our success in the hospitality sector or the trade sector, so that when ChatGPT comes on our website, it sees us there, and then it will cross-reference that with other data sources, and then it will confirm that yes, actually Dan can do that. Very clever. I think it's very clever, but we're the ones who are creating that. But this is what you need in your business. Again, all of this, it just takes so much time and energy, and you have to come up with the ideas and all of that kind of thing. And then the the one-man band, we have a lot of calls with people who are just on their own and they haven't got time to do all of this stuff, but they recognise in 2026 that they need it. And unfortunately, because it's just them, it means their income is going up and down. So their income goes up because they've made some sales. Now they have to go and implement the delivery of those sales, so they haven't got time to market. So then their income goes down because they're not marketing. And now they're like, oh my gosh, I've got no business. So now I need to market. So they market again, the income comes up. And now because we have to implement the delivery of whatever it is they've sold. And it's like this. This is what it's like for many, many businesses, especially small businesses where it's one-man band. And this is where we actually help, because now we take all of that work off them. And so what they actually end up seeing is their revenue slowly increasing month on month, because the amount of content that's going out, the amount of SEO that's going out, the amount of Facebook ads that's going out is consistent, and they're now able to work on their business and grow their income and focus on delivery rather than having to start and stop on the marketing and so on. So if you're a one-man band, it's going to kill your pipeline, because, you're going to get really busy and you haven't got any more space to do the marketing. So what happens? The marketing stops. Well, what happens then? Your income drops. It's just this, this merry-go-round of up and down, up and down. It's a bit of a nightmare, really. And then the other thing that we found as well is that we speak to a lot of people and we go, oh, I've got this really nice website, it cost me $5,000. Goodness knows who they're paying $5,000. You want to pay $5,000 for a website? Come and do it to us. We'll fly you out to Spain for the week. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. And you can sit next to me and we'll work through it for the next couple of days. Crazy, right? But they get this amazing looking website and then they have no traffic. And, the analogy I actually use is, you buy a Ferrari and you put it in a garage. Brilliant. Now you can go in and you can touch it and you can sniff it and you can sit in the driving seat and make some driving noises. But because you spent all your money on your website, stroke Ferrari, you can't afford to put the petrol in. The petrol, the fuel is visitors, is traffic. This is Facebook ads, content, SEO, email marketing, all the stuff we've talked about. But most people haven't got that ability to do it because they spent all the money on this fancy website. And so actually, it's not that the website can't convert. It's that you've got no traffic to go to the website. It's not that your fancy Ferrari doesn't look amazing. It does. It's just that no one can see it because it's locked away behind closed doors. That's the same for your website. And so you have to find a way of getting traffic to your offer. It doesn't have to be a website. It could be a Facebook page. It could be a Facebook ad, for example. Ideally, it's a website because all things being equal, you still need those. But you've got to find a way of getting traffic to your offers. Only then will you be able to know if your offers are working or not. All right, I hope you find that useful, quick and easy today. We are rammed, as no doubt you can tell, but I wanted to get this one out today.